I can't sing it, but it goes like this.
Yeah, it goes like how again? How does it go again?
I don't know. I can't
And
sing
we're
it.
live. We're live.
Yeah, I'm
No,
not
that's
going to
good.
do that.
No, it's okay. You just welcome
Can you believe we're
to Final
professional
Approach to Game Day.
Professional.
So, everybody, party animals, welcome aboard to Final Approach to Game Day. I am Chris Rasal, joined today by Heath Rominger over at Rominger's Renovations, doing some big stuff over there, trying to figure out about everything that can be done. And then, of course, Hunter Brock, Final Approach Irrigation, joined live and in person, a twofer with Collin Bester of Mid-Bay News fame. Guys, how you feeling today?
Fantastic.
Outstanding.
It's homecoming at Niceville.
It's homecoming.
Well, and the fall weather of all things, too. I mean, it's supposed to be 70 degrees at kickoff. I mean, what better weather can you ask for to play football in here in the Panhandle?
You can't
Great.
because it's going to rain for the next 5 days. So you can see the field is freshly painted behind Hunter and Collin. They've been busy little bees getting that thing ready. Can you give us a little bit of a field report over there, Hunter?
Hey, it looks better. It's looking a lot better today than it has been in the past. It's nice and green. We did get a little bit of rain the other day, so maybe they need to call us. I mean, the rain greened it up. I don't know.
But I thought maybe they'd already called you, and that's why it's so green.
Yeah,
Hey.
see that was where I was going with that.
Hey.
How's that 30-yard spot?
Can you see it? Do you see
Yeah.
it right there? Do you
Yeah, I
see it?
Mm-hmm.
It's over there somewhere. Yeah. Well, you tell me. It's pretty brown. And
So for the unaware, Hunter's actual number one personal enemy on this earth is the I would say the detente.
It's like the
30-yard line.
35 now. It's like the 35 now.
So it's moved slightly over the last 15 years. That's fine. But
Kind of
yeah,
like some of the seats.
Wait, is that normal? Has
Yeah.
that always been there?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's always a wet
Yeah.
spot there.
always there.
Okay.
Anyway, guys, let's get into the games that we're going to see this week. This week is week 7, just 5 more games, 5 week games in the regular season left. We have Baker hosting Northview. Choctaw is going to visit South Walton. I'll be over at that game. Crestview is playing host to Pine Forest, both trying to get their second win. Destin is heading out to Bozeman. Fort Walton Beach is hosting Wakulla, and we will have somebody over there, Alexis Williams, our photographer extraordinaire, will be at that game. Freeport takes the week off. Niceville hosting Godby for homecoming. Rocky is playing that team with the C whose name I've forgotten. And South Walton heading over to or is hosting Freeport for a very good game. And then it's looking like South Walton is with Choctaw this week. And then Walton, of course, heading over to Arnold. Guys, any of these games really stick out to you? I know we've kind of talked a little bit about how this feels like a little bit of a lighter week for most games, with the exception of this Niceville Godby game. Your thoughts?
who wants to go first?
You first.
Okay. Yeah, this week is kind of a slow week in the terms of high school football. I mean, if you're looking based on matchups and record, obviously I think the game to look for is Choctaw at South Walton. But we know that Choctaw's defense is going to travel. Choctaw's going to play really well, and South Walton's going to have their hands full. But you can go up north to Crestview versus Pine Forest. They're both 1-3, looking to get their season back on track within the final 5 weeks or so. You could look at them. But other than that, most of the heavy hitters in this area, the Miltons, the Mosleys, the Tates, they're on a bye week this week. It's really, I would say not a lot of great football is going to be played over Northwest Florida this week.
Did you refer to Milton as a heavy hitter?
Hey, man,
They're
they're looking
5-1.
good.
Man.
I'm telling you what.
Yeah.
Well, and on that note, I mean, not to bring the mood even lower, but Collin, I know Milton lost a longtime head coach over there at Milton High School. Can you kind of take us through how that's going over there?
Yeah, so on Tuesday, the Milton community lost probably one of the pillars of high school sports in Northwest Florida. Hurley Manning, longtime coach for the Milton Panthers from the 60s to the 80s, passed away earlier this week at 87. During his time at Milton, he won 9 district titles and 2 state titles back-to-back in 84 and 85. Truly one of the greats at Milton. I've only had a couple interactions with him. Every time you'd see him at my time in 2012 or so, he'd always be on a golf cart. He'd always sit at the north end zone and watch these Milton football games. He was truly a legend. He also gave us a couple pep talks. But we shared a historian on Facebook did a nice little post about him, and he was a true he truly loved the power run game. 3 yards in a cloud of dust was the story of the Milton offense, and he hated the forward pass with a passion. He said only a couple things could come from the forward pass, and 2 of those are bad things. But I think the Milton community, I speak for them since I was a Milton Panther, will truly miss Hurley Manning. And his funeral will be at Haywood Hanna Stadium this Sunday at 2:00. I will be in attendance. A lot of former Panthers that I know will be in attendance. So it's going to be a very sentimental day on Sunday at Milton.
Yeah. So sorry for your loss, man. It's always sad when somebody that great passes, but it's awesome to know what a great life they lived. Well, as we're moving into the game day for tonight, let's take a look at our power rankings. I'm going to pull these up on the screen now. Excuse moi. As usual at this point, Choctaw has the top spot. All of our voters voting for Choctaw to be in that number 1 spot this week, followed by Pace, who got all the second place votes for the first time. It spreads out a little bit after that. Mosley overtaking Bay a couple of weeks ago, even though Bay put a 14-point hurting on Mosley. Catholic off their win over Freeport, dominant win, I think a 40-point win in the rain before they just said, yeah, we've had enough. So Milton off this week, drops 2 after losing to Mosley in Panama City, or I should say Lynn Haven. Tate also has the week off. South Walton looking at some more football tonight as they play Choctaw. So number 1 versus number 8. Baker sneaking in there, only rural team on the list. And then, of course, Freeport rounding that off. Little good news, though, for our Niceville fans. Niceville did get some votes this week, so they're officially in 12th place. Not for nothing. It's good to see them kind of climbing up a little bit up the rankings. But other than that, what do you guys think? The algorithm, I think, in its infinite wisdom, has picked these with some help from our voters. Got any bones to pick with the top 10 on this one?
I concur all the way down. I don't see a problem with any of these. Choctaw's obviously proven to be kind of the best and well-rounded team, both offensively and defensively. Pace, I tell you, the win over it beat Milton last week, if I remember correctly, right?
Or they beat
Crestview.
They beat Crestview. That's right.
I don't know why. Crestview, Milton.
Defuniak or Walton.
But yeah, I mean, no, I think these are all fair assessments of where how these teams are doing.
Collin, you got any beef on these? I know you wanted Baker to be a little bit higher. I remember your votes being a little bit higher.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like Baker for me to be higher because they are, out of all the teams in Northwest Florida, they're one of the only 2 remaining undefeated, Choctaw being the other. But they are in the rural subdivision, so they aren't playing world beaters, but they are 5-0, and you can only play the people on your schedule. I would say Pace probably might drop after this week. I think they're going to win against Andalusia, but we don't know the status of Mikel Williams. He actually left early in the first quarter against Crestview with an ankle injury. We don't know his status. He may not play tonight. And if he does not play tonight, that could severely hurt this Pace offense moving forward. But last week it was Tag Strickenberger, Tag with 2 Gs, who picked up the rushing duties for Pace and actually had quite a good day. He had over 100 yards rushing the ball. The quarterback, Austin Brooks, I can't remember his last name at all, but he also had over 140 yards rushing. So the Pace offense didn't seem to get down, but obviously without Mikel Williams, this is a different Pace offense that we've seen.
Absolutely. So, looking into our first game, the game that you 2 guys are gracing us with your presence from, it is Godby at Niceville. Godby with a quality win over Childs. Childs, of course, the only team that either of these 2 teams have played that they've beaten that also has a winning record up to this point. But Godby's come back with a 3-game win streak, man. Can you tell us a little bit more, Collin, about Godby and what we should expect tonight when they take the field against the Niceville Eagles?
Yeah, I think one of the big things from this Godby team is that they actually are more impressive than we've seen historically from them. Usually, when teams see Godby on their schedule, it's an easy win. But with a 3-game win streak after dropping the first 3 games and having Lana Dordery, the 14th ranked passer in the state of Florida, on your team, is proven to be a good equation for this Godby team. They are traveling from Tallahassee, and it is homecoming week here at Niceville, so the crowd is going to be rocking. So this is probably going to be the hardest game that they've played all season long. But I do expect that with Niceville's sort of porous defense in the secondary, they have allowed a lot of passing touchdowns this year. This could be a very interesting game, and I don't think this is going to be a running clock situation like we had with Golf Breeze last week. And I think it's going to be a fourth quarter game. And I think this honestly, this is going to probably be the most entertaining game of the season probably so far here at Niceville, the Eagles Nest. My bad.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, we're going to be at the Eagles Nest tonight. Collin's going to be taking over those duties so that I can move east. That way we can get the most important games this week. But the thing that really strikes me about this is like absolutely like Pac-12, Big 12 kind of football. I mean, there might be 80 points that they score in this game tonight. I think that, Godby's got a great offense. Niceville has very good receivers. Both teams, Godby, you can see on our power rankings right there, has an F defense. That's a tough look. But that offense is also very, very good. It's potent, getting a lot of yards against teams like Sewanee Childs and Baker County. They played Florida State University High School. They lost to some very good teams. So those 3 losses are not anything to shake a stick at. They're looking pretty good. Especially on a 3-game win streak, right? And so they look to extend it to 4 here at Niceville. But Hunter, you've been watching most of these games this year, and I know we haven't exactly shown these highlights yet, but I'm going to pull them up. Niceville at Gulf Breeze last week. Collin shot these last week, but it's amazing to watch these guys just absolutely run over this Gulf Breeze team, and I'm assuming they want to do the same thing tonight at Godby. What are you hoping to see from these guys, Hunter?
Exactly that. I'm hoping to see we run over Godby tonight, but I have to agree with Collin here. And, I think it's going to be a 4-quarter game, but I'm hoping that the Godby defense lacking a little bit is going to allow us to make up for our defense lacking a little bit at times. I mean, I think you and I talked earlier this week about our defense has given up quite a lot of yards. What was it, like 300 yards a game or something like that on average?
Yeah.
And so that's a lot. So I'm hoping that, our offense can step up and make up for that. And Godby's defense, hopefully lacking a little bit, allows our offense to capitalize on that. But we also, I think, in order to really control this game tonight, since, we're kind of anticipating it to be a offensive heavy game, we need to try to control the clock and stay on the field, keep our offense on the field a little bit longer to help our defense out and give them a break, But again, we've talked about it before. We got I think Heath pointed out last week or the week before, we've got a lot of guys playing both ways here. So hopefully those guys aren't getting worn down too badly, on one side of the ball or the other. So I think those are kind of our big key points that we're going to have to worry about tonight. Let's control the ball. Let's keep the ball and control the clock with the ball that way, and try to give our defense as much of a break as we can so that we can stand up against that threat with the quarterback and that Godby has. So that's kind of what I'm looking at and looking to see here.
Yeah, and so Heath, on our side of the ball, what are you looking at for our team? I mean, what is it going to be, more of a passer's game for us or a runner's game for us? What have you seen over the last couple of weeks that brings interest to your mind?
Well, what Niceville does is they're well balanced. They run the ball, they pass the ball. They've got they got kind of that double threat there. The one thing Choctaw did was they really hurried the quarterback. The defensive end would get in there. I noticed he kind of almost come in. It seemed like almost untouched a few times, and that really disrupted the rhythm of the offense. But I think what they've got now is Godby is not near the defense Choctaw is, but they still got to hold the line, and they got to give them enough time for the play to develop and then get the pass off. So I think they run a well balanced, and Godby's actually kind of well balanced as well. They just statistically their stats are right there with Niceville's, but then again, it's going to come back to the defense. How many points is the defense going to allow to be given up? Are they going to not allow third down conversions, which is going to be huge? Give it a 3 and outs, make them punt, and then get the ball. As we alluded to, there are several players that do play both ways. I tell you, it's much easier to play offense than it is on defense, because where you're having to be reactive all the time, that takes a lot of energy. But when you're on offense, you know exactly where you're going, and boom, you're there. So, hopefully the offense can stay on the field a lot longer than the defense does tonight.
Right on. Well, guys, we'll be right back after this message from Final Approach Irrigation. Afterwards, we're going to be talking about Choctaw football. They're going to South Walton tonight, and we'll be talking to their defensive coordinator, who is at the head of one of the best defenses in all of Northwest Florida. The Final Approach to Game Day is brought to you by the good folks at Final Approach Irrigation. Owner and president Hunter Brock is one of the guys on this show and does a great job making sure that your lawn is looking like you can play on it for game day. They install irrigation systems and design them as well, and they provide even and efficient water distribution, keeping your lawn and landscape healthy while also making sure to conserve water. And if your sprinkler system is in need of an update, he's the guy to go to as well. They maintain and repair sprinkler systems from little broken sprinkler heads to faulty valves and leaks. They make sure to offer you fast and reliable repairs to keep your system running smooth. And finally, they take care of the little stuff that you may not think of that is super important to keeping a healthy lawn. Stuff like making sure that your drainage is properly installed and working. No matter what, Hunter and the folks at Final Approach Irrigation can take care of you. Got to probably start talking into a microphone that's on, but welcome back, everybody. It's Christopher over at Mid-Bay News. We are here on the Final Approach to Game Day show with Final Approach Irrigation. We've talked a little bit about Niceville hosting Godby this week, but this is another big game that we're going to be looking at. I'm going to be over there in South Walton, Choctaw at South Walton. Undefeated Choctaw, who hasn't let up or given a point away in a non-mercy rule situation since August the 22nd. Against Gulf Shores, is going to be against a high-powered offense over at South Walton, a team that likes to start running the ball and then will just drop back and throw for 60. So it's going to be a very interesting game. Collin, you did all the research on this game leading up to it. I did the high notes, but what else do you see in this game that excites you, that you want to see as we're going towards it?
So I do want to apologize. I did the notes earlier, and it looks like they did not save. So you are seeing the Godby versus Niceville.
That's on me.
No, that's on me. I'll take the blame here. You're the boss, and you can always throw me under the bus whenever you want. But this Choctaw Sowell game, I think, is going to be very interesting because on paper, this is Choctaw's last really tough opponent on paper. I mean, after this, you have Rickards, Fort Walton Beach, and Enterprise. It looks like they're going to win those games. So, I mean, if there's any threat to the undefeated season, it's tonight against South Walton, because I think this is probably going to be one of the best offenses they played all year. And it's a solid defense for them as well. I mean, South Walton's no joke. They are 4-1 for a reason. And this is going to be at South Walton, so new digs for them. I think, what they showed against Walton last week in a rivalry game, holding them to no points. I think that's one of the hallmarks of a good defense, and also what makes a rivalry game so special. But for Choctaw, this is a team that's only allowed 28 points all year. This is probably one of those defenses that we probably will not see in Northwest Florida for quite some time. Once, the Alloway brothers, also, I think they're a big key of this defense as well. So I think that, Christopher, you're going to see a fun game. I think you're going to see a defensive masterclass, and I think you're going to see a running clock, which means you can get home a little bit earlier than us here at the Eagles Nest.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be a pretty epic game for this Choctaw defense. I think that they're going to need to be pretty stout if they want to shut this thing down early. I think a huge part of this is going to be making South Walton believe that they can't win early, right? Because if you give them a chance, if you let them score at home and they're in the game, it could be a totally different ball game. And so I'm very interested to see how they stop them early, because I think that's pretty much what happened with Niceville when Niceville hosted Choctaw. I mean, Heath, is that about your estimation on this one?
Well, I tell you, it's funny. South Walton actually owns the sky when it comes to the offense. They actually have over 110 points per game than Choctaw does passing. Although Choctaw now has about 140 points more on the ground. So what's really going to be interesting about this game is, will Choctaw's defense be able to shut down their passing game in order to control South Walton? The other piece to it is, will they be able to contain the running back? Now, that little running back right there they have is, he's really talented. He reads the line real well, and he gets some yards. So I tell you, this one's going to be where I think Choctaw's defense shuts down the offense, and Choctaw kind of really runs away with this game.
Yeah, well, I think you're right. And the reason I'm so excited about this game tonight is because I got to talk to Terrence Brooks. He is let me just go through the list. He, 3-star recruit out of high school, went to Florida State, won a national championship at Florida State, and then went and played in the NFL for 7 years. Now he is back with his old head coach at high school, Frank Beasley, who coached him back in the day. They're a power couple at this point, just running and gunning, destroying teams in their path. And so I got to sit down with him for about 10 minutes and have him walk me through everything from tonight's game to the culture in the Choctaw dressing room that makes this defense so excellent. So check it out. All right, with me now, Choctaw defensive coordinator Terrence Brooks, also a member of the FSU National Championship team and a 7-year player in the NFL. He's now coaching the Choctaw defense to one of the most dominant performances I think I've ever seen in high school football. Coach, how do you get a team to be this good on the defensive side of the ball?
Really, I think it's just a matter of those kids buying in. We have about 8 returning starters from that last year's group who honestly were very successful last year too. We went on a great streak with those guys with shutouts and, with all the quarters and all that. But we got a lot of guys who, aren't the most highly touted players, but they're all kids who play hard and play with a chip on their shoulder. And they have a complex defense that they run and they pick it up. So it's just cool to see it all come together and the hard work they do, along with a great staff to chip in as well. It's been really good.
With the defense this dominant, it's been really awesome to see the number of quarters you can go without giving up a score. And the last 2 scores you've given up have kind of been essentially in garbage time, right? So you haven't given up a real touchdown since August. What does that say about those starters on that team, and what are you hoping that the next group of kids up after them see from this dominant performance so far this season?
Man, I couldn't say enough good about that group. I feel like on every level we have playmakers and guys who just love the game. They're not entitled. They come to work each and every day, from the weight room to the classroom to the field. And they're really setting an example kind of for those younger guys who are coming up. I mean, we practice hard. They definitely get chewed out a lot in practice. At this point, and kind of been a trend the whole time, it really is our practices are harder than the games. We really get after it, good on good. We're very detailed with our stuff. And like I said, it's just really cool to see it come together. It's just game days to us is like our party time. That's what we say.
Right on. And so looking back at your past, you were a 3-star recruit at Dunalon, and then you went from there to Florida State. How does being a 3-star guy, I was watching some reels yesterday about like how 3-star guys are usually the ones you want playing on your team because they're the ones that are actually working for it, getting there. Right. They don't have the pedigree. They're the guys that do the work. Is that how you feel about these guys, or is Choctaw just 11 elite talented dudes that are going to play anywhere in college?
Yeah, it's just a mixture of everything. We got guys who don't even have a half of a star. I mean, it's guys out there who, like I said, they just playing for each other. To me, the stars don't really matter. When I was in high school getting coached by, well, if no one knew, Coach Beasley was actually my high school football coach.
Okay,
and,
cool.
Going through that time. So it's a deep connection there. But the stars to me just don't matter, man. I feel like some point, that stuff plays out. I've been against 5 stars when I was, going through, and, I've outlasted along them. A lot of those guys too. So we try to preach to our guys that stuff doesn't matter. If you can play, they will find you. And really, if you don't put anything on film to consider yourself a dog or a 5-star, then no one's going to come put you on their team. So a lot of those guys understand that. They don't, they're not out here playing for the stars and all that. We really call that stuff rat poison, because it's really just, people want to put the good stuff in your ear, and, you start slacking off and getting complacent. And a lot of those guys understand that, and they really just buy into winning every play. We don't, we always want to go 1-0 each and every week, but we go play by play, and we just see how many of those that we can win in a game. So the stars and all the accolades and all that stuff, it's cool. It's great to get that type of recognition, but these guys they just want to play football. It's awesome.
Right on it. And so you're a really great Twitter follow, man. Like I just enjoy it. It's a good time. What can you explain to the uninitiated masses what the Bully Boys are and how that came to be?
Oh man, it was kind of a term that I think I started, when we first first got to get going through, the camps and everything, and just the way kind of wanted to instill a mindset of, nobody likes a bully, especially on the football field. And at first they were like, oh, and then they, finally started, you know what, we kind of like that. And they play like it too, man. They're a tough group, play old school football. They're going to talk their crap. They're going to back it up. They're going to fly around. They're going to hit you. I mean, it's just a physical nature that we always want to bring to the table, and it starts in practice. And really, we say bully boys just for our defense, but I think it carries over into our offense as well. Those guys try to instill that mindset. And it's something that I feel like all the coaches are really driving home with these kids. We have a great leader, and in my opinion, the best head coach in the area, period, could be in the state of Florida, Frank Beasley. I think he's an amazing guy on all levels to get these kids ready to go. He demands a lot out of his staff. And it's just it's cool to see that bully boys mindset kind of resonate throughout the whole area, and people that's what they call us right now. We're going to live up to it.
So I mean, Coach Beasley coached you back in the day. You go to college, you go to the pros. What about Coach Beasley made you go, I'm going to go to Fort Walton Beach, Florida, and be a defensive coordinator for this guy? What about him motivated you to like uproot your life, move your kids here, and make this happen?
Man, honestly, it was really easy, honestly. I started out in Niceville as a DB coach there. That didn't go well, and I had the opportunity to, coach with Coach Beasley. He's always wanted me. He was a little upset that I was over at Niceville to start out, but I think everything happens for a reason. And like I said, that didn't go according to plan. The opportunity is there for me to be a DC, and they welcomed me with open arms, and it was just, it was a match made in heaven. I'm a very passionate coach, passionate player, and I think that has at least helped that program. And Beasley has always complimented me on that and just kind of what I bring to the table over there. So it's honestly just perfect, man. I love the edginess of Choctaw. I think it's not that old buttoned up, beachy type kids. They're really guys who they love to get after it. A lot of them have rough upbringings. They cherish this game. They don't take it for granted. And I think the whole staff, and especially my defensive staff, they do a very good job, from Trey Threat to Dorf to Coach Fuller, Neely. We have a very close-knit young staff, I would say, and we really get after on that. But playing for Beasley, man, playing for him was awesome, but coaching with him is a whole different story. I love what he brings to the table. I love just the way he carries himself and throughout this area, just what he's recognized for. He's loved by many. Families love him, the kids love him, the coaches do too. So it was a very easy transition, and I'm so happy I did it because it worked out great in all aspects.
Right on. And so Choctaw is going to play, as we're recording this, South Walton tonight. South Walton is known for its very balanced passing and running attack. Smaller school, of course. What are you looking for your guys to do? Obviously you want them to win, but like, what are you looking strategically or tactically at with South Walton tonight? What do you notice about them?
I think they do some things well. They got a few players who can make some plays. Just at this point, man, it's really a matter of what we do. We're trying to perfect our craft and make sure we're good, and we know that's going to handle everything else. We have the mindset of basically, you have to beat me. You got to find a way to beat me. We're not out there to try to stop your offense or try to do this and that. Like, you have to prove to us that you can make plays on us throughout the whole game. And our guys pride themselves on that. We're just looking to dominate. That's really it. We don't really sugarcoat it. We don't really want to talk much. We don't want to hear any excuses. It's line the football up and let's play ball. And that's where we're at. We know they're probably going to do some things here and there, but we're just going to see if they can outlast the whole game, see if they can really put up with, what we do and how we move around and what our offense brings to the table. So, and they're going to get it in all phases, I feel. We have a very confident group just because of the preparation. It's not just because we're, cocky or any of this. We know the work that we put in through, the tough Fridays and Tuesdays that we always have from the weight room. We know we put the work in. So really, like I said before, this time's end up being basically our reward for the week. So it'll be fun. Can't wait. They got a new stadium. It'd be cool to play into that. So Be awesome.
Right on. Well, Coach Terrence Brooks is in charge of the stingiest defense, according to all of our data sets here at Mid-Bay News. You're going to be able to watch them play tonight at South Walton. I'll be at that game, so I'll be giving you guys quarter updates, taking some photos, getting some video out there. So we're looking for big hits. See you there.
We're going to give them to you. Thank you.
The Final Approach to Game Day is brought to you by the good folks at Final Approach Irrigation. Owner and President Hunter Brock is one of the guys on this show and does a great job making sure that your lawn is looking like you could play on it for game day. They install irrigation systems and design them as well, and they provide even and efficient water distribution, keeping your lawn and landscape healthy while also making sure to conserve water. And if your sprinkler system is in need of an update, he's the guy to go to as well. They maintain and repair sprinkler systems from little broken sprinkler heads to faulty valves and leaks. They make sure to offer you fast and reliable repairs to keep your system running smooth. And finally, they take care of the little stuff that you may not think of that is super important to keeping a healthy lawn. Stuff like making sure that your drainage is properly installed and working. No matter what, Hunter and the folks at Final Approach Irrigation can take care of you. Well, welcome back, guys, and thanks so much to defensive coordinator Terrence Brooks over at Choctaw for hanging out with us. So let's get right into the next game, and that's going to be Pine Forest heading over to Crestview. Guys, I think this is going to be a very interesting matchup because I think that both of these teams, I think Crestview showed up for the Niceville game, but I think Pine Forest has just been stuck in a malaise, and I'm excited to see if they can turn this thing around. Of course, Crestview, not an easy team to play in Crestview. So, Hunter, what do you think about this game, man? I mean, looking into it, it looks like the 2 week, where you're sitting down, where Pine Forest has been sitting for 2 weeks, it's hard to kind of turn the motor back on. How was it for you back in the day?
Yeah, I mean, there's kind of, in my opinion, two ways to look at it. As one, yeah, it's going to be hard to kind of get back in the swing of things, to get rolling again, back into game day feeling. And then the other is you're ready to get back after it. You're kind of tired of sitting around. So how's Pine Forest going to handle that? And I don't know the answer. I don't know if anybody knows the answer to that question right now. So we could see them come out rocking and rolling and beat Crestview here. Personally, I kind of hope that's what happens. But, then again, we might see the exact opposite. We might see them, almost like a lot of teams' first game of the year, kind of struggling to get it together on the field under the lights. So it'll be interesting aspect on that.
And Heath, I want to ask you about this because I'm going to show these highlights real quick. Just watching this quarterback right here, Zytassin, run for his life with this offensive line just kind of disintegrating before him. How do you get anything done on offense?
Well, that's why Crestview averages 186 yards on the ground right now, and that's because the quarterback isn't able to sit back in the pocket, get the passes off, so he's forced to scramble. They do have a couple running backs that can move the ball as well, but they're not really successful in the air. I mean, they're averaging 43 yards a game right now in the air. Now, you go over to Pine Forest, they're at 143 yards per game. But they're at 99 yards on the ground. So they're a little more balanced. It really comes down to the offensive line for Crestview. If they're going to be able to hold it or not, to allow them to get their passing game going is really going to be the question on this one here.
Yeah, and Collin, you've done all the research, all the background on how these teams have played so far this year. What really stuck out to you about these two teams, and what do you think will make the difference in this matchup?
Seeing Crestview last week in the second half of their game against Pace, I mean, that was probably one of the most physical matchups I've seen in quite a long time in high school football in this area. The score does not reflect the physicality of that game. Pace and Crestview were beating the absolute crap out of each other. The only difference is Pace was able to complete a couple key passes, whereas Crestview, I feel like, got hit with a lot of penalties. And there was actually a touchdown in the end zone that Crestview could have caught, but unfortunately the receiver dropped the ball, and that's what led to Crestview sort of withering that game away. But I think they're hurting this week. I mean, that was one of the most physical games. Pine Forest has a defense that can travel. We saw them twice this year. We actually went to Niceville's game over Pine Forest, and then the week later we saw Pine Forest visit Choctaw. and they held Choctaw in check to only 28 points that day. And it was a night and day Jekyll and Hyde thing I saw. It was completely two different teams between the 2 weeks that I saw at Pine Forest. So I think it's a reasonable expectation that Pine Forest can actually go into Crestview this week, win this game handedly. I think they can, and then get their season back on track, because for them, they haven't even started district play yet. So they have their whole season in front of them, and if hopefully they have 4 weeks to hopefully get a playoff spot. Because at the beginning of this year, if you told me that Pine Forest was 1-3, I probably wouldn't have believed you. They're on paper one of the best teams in this area, but they've had 3 quarterbacks start for them in 4 games, and that's something that really teams can't get. Once you have uncertainty at the quarterback position, you really don't have a solidified team at that point. So hopefully the 2-week break for them answered a lot of questions for them, and hopefully they get back to their winning ways, as we know Pine Forest can.
Right on. Well, moving on to the next game on our list, Walton at Arnold. Walton, of course, taking that 13-0 lightning shortened game last week. And Arnold's given up, I think they gave up 700 yards to Bay. I think they've given up, 400 yards a game for the most part. It's a very tough sledding when you're giving up that many yards in a high school football game. Collin, what do you think about this game, man?
See, this is interesting to me because on paper, it's 2 teams that have had really, I think, misfortune this season. For Walton, you start the season off great. 2-0. I mean, one of those was a Holmes County game where you barely squeaked by, and then you drop the next 3 games, and it looks like at this point the season's rapidly approaching its end. They're already 0-1 in district play, losing to losing to South Walton. And then for Arnold, they're a really young team. The defense has a lot of questions surrounding them, and honestly, I feel like either team can come out of this game with a victory tonight. So it'll be interesting to see if Walton can get things turned around. And for Arnold, their defense has struggled, is putting it lightly for them. It's been like Swiss cheese at some times for them this year. So hopefully they can get things turned around. But I think Walton is going to handle business tonight.
Right on. And then finally, Baker at Northview. You wanted this on here, man. I know you're a big Baker guy. 6-0 Baker versus 1-4 Northview. I think we talked about this a little bit earlier here in the office, and you said that Northview is actually much better than a 1-4 record would implicate. Why do you feel that way?
Yeah, I mean, we saw them against Freeport. Now they put up crazy numbers against Freeport, and they actually, after doing some research with some journalism friends out west, there was actually an interception when Northview actually was driving down the field and possibly could have kicked a game-winning field goal to give Freeport one of their early losses this year. So some penalties, some turnovers, I think, for them. Obviously they got smacked in the mouth week 1 against Destin, 37-2, but Destin hasn't really been the team that we thought they were going to be this year. I think Northview's in the same boat, very young team. But for Baker, their resume speaks for themselves. They're 6-0. They won the Mid-Bay News Award for best offense at the midpoint of the season. I think they have one of the best coaches in the area as well, and one of the best defenses in the rural division. So to me, I think, they take care of business tonight in a district matchup. They have 2 more district matchups so far this season. And I think Baker, depending on how tonight goes and how next week goes, I think they could be the first team in Northwest Florida to claim a playoff spot.
I think you're probably right. Well, guys, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. After that, the boys are going to give you their picks for this week, and we're going to have a hot dog ranking. It's exactly what it sounds like. Be right back. The Final Approach to Game Day is brought to you by the good folks at Final Approach Irrigation. Owner and president Hunter Brock is one of the guys on this show and does a great job making sure that your lawn is looking like you can play on it for game day. They install irrigation systems and design them as well, and they provide even and efficient water distribution, keeping your lawn and landscape healthy while also making sure to conserve water. And if your sprinkler system is in need of an update, he's the guy to go to as well. They maintain and repair sprinkler systems from little broken sprinkler heads to faulty valves and leaks. They make sure to offer you fast and reliable repairs to keep your system running smooth. And finally, they take care of the little stuff that you may not think of that is super important to keeping a healthy lawn. Stuff like making sure that your drainage is properly installed and working. No matter what, Hunter and the folks at Final Approach Irrigation can take care of you. All right, team, well, welcome back. It is time for Pick'em. I randomly picked, and it looks like Collin's going to talk even longer. That's my bad, boys. But Collin, Niceville at Godby, it's a very low confidence pick, but you're picking Niceville. What made the decision for you?
I think it's homecoming week. As Hunter and I were walking to our setup on the visitor side and walking back, I was very impressed in my first time to the Eagles' Nest when they played Choctaw. But I think this is going to be turned up to 11, quoting one of the famous movies, The Spinal Tap, and I'm going to see a home crowd that is going to be actively rooting for this team to get up to a winning record so far this season. So for me, I'm picking Niceville, but Godby's 2-1 on the road, coming on a 3-game win streak. They can travel. So we will see if they can travel here tonight. This is going to be their longest road test of the season so far. So, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Godby actually won this game, but I think Niceville squeaks by late in the fourth quarter. Give me 43-41.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a high scorer as well. And moving down, Choctaw over Sowall. Sowall's got a pretty good 2A ball club. But Choctaw has got probably one of the best teams in the state. And so I can totally understand why you picked Choctaw. I see that you put it at a 4 out of 5 for your confidence rating. What's the one thing that's giving you pause?
I think this is going to be one of the best passing attacks that Choctaw has seen all season. And if Choctaw's defense doesn't come up to play, I know their front seven is going to come to play, but their secondary, I think, in my opinion, has not been tested so far this season. This is going to be their first real test. And to me, this is, like I said earlier in the show, this is their last real threat to challenge them on their undefeated season. This is the toughest game remaining on their schedule until they get to the playoffs. So, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if South Walton win. Actually, it would surprise me a lot if South Walton wins, but I'm confident in Choctaw's defense to travel. So I think they win by 2 scores tonight.
Pine Forest, speaking of something you're not confident on, Pine Forest and Crestview, man. I mean, this is a tough game to pick, and I think we all I think we split a lot of these games this week, with the exception of Choctaw and Niceville. I think these last 3, we kind of went back and forth. Well, I guess really just these 2, now that I'm thinking about it. But why Pine Forest over Crestview, even though Crestview's at home?
I think the 2 weeks off really make the difference. I mean, last week we saw the physicality in that Crestview pace game. There's a lot of questions that porous offensive line has some problems, but Pine Forest defense, the 1-3 record does not prove to how good I think this defense actually is. They've had a very tough opening of their schedule, probably one of the hardest openings to any team so far this season. So I think Pine Forest rebounds, and I think they're looking ahead to the Escambias and to the Booker T. Washingtons of the world later this season. Hopefully they can backdoor their way into a playoff spot.
Yeah, Walton coming off of a gritty loss to South Walton that was ended short. I thought that Walton had the chops to come back and make a game of that, and they maybe even beat South Walton last week. But fate was not in their favor, so they ended up losing that one. And now they're going to play Arnold. Arnold, the bigger school, of course, but not a well-performing school. So I see you got Walton. Why Walton, and why low confidence?
I mean, the 3-game skid really takes some confidence out of Walton. It has this team sort of mentally given up. I mean, I've never been on the end of a 3-game losing skid. The biggest losing streak I've ever had in my high school career was 1. So, we were able to rebound. Hunter, you've probably been on the end of losing skids, but that's unlikely since you played here at Niceville. And Heath, you also played here at Niceville. So I don't think you've ever had a 3-game losing skid. So, but other teams who have, players can, get complacent or sort of lose confidence. And, but they are playing against Arnold, who just recently had the Choctaw world beater experience where they dropped 40 points, where their defense gave up 40 points. So I'm going to say Walton wins by a score tonight.
Right on. And then finally, Baker at Northview. It's good to be a Baker Gator. At least that's what they chant during the games up there. And 6-0, they might be right.
Yeah, 6-0, tied for third place in the rural district so far, behind Bluntstown and Chiefland. For them, this is exactly why. Unfortunately, his name escapes me. That's exactly why they brought back their head coach to Baker.
Matt Brunson.
Matt Brunson. But this is exactly why they brought him back, to get the Baker back to their winning ways. I expect them to roll easily tonight, going to Northview, and I think a win next week will put them solidly in the playoffs. And now they're just playing for seeding at that point. So Baker rolls. Give it my lock of the week.
All right, guys, you heard lock of the week. We're going to move over to Hunter, who is in first place in our Pick'em challenge so far this year. I mean, my guy, you're a genius. You're a savant. And you've picked these 5 teams to win this week. Why'd you pick Niceville, and why you got it on a certified Hundo P no cap lock, as the kids say?
Hey, I'm Niceville through and through. It's homecoming, baby. I got to pick it. I got to say it's a lock. I'm not going to say Niceville by a million. That hasn't worked out for those of us who have said that on this show this year. So we're not going to say that. But I think, we talked earlier about Niceville Godby here, and I think as long as our offense can stay on the field and kind of control the clock, I got us up there. We're going to win. It's probably going to be a high-scoring game. Probably going to be 4 quarters worth of football here, but that's my lock right there.
Well, you heard it here. That's Hunter Brock's final approach certified Rizzler no cap lock of the week. I'm trying to see if the kids will start watching this if I start using their slang. Anyway, Choctaw hosted at South Walton. You got this as a lock as well. I mean, Choctaw's good, man.
They are. Choctaw's good, and there's no question about that. South Walton has been a good team this year, but I just don't see them competing on the level to be able to beat Choctaw. I don't see it happening. So I got Choctaw locked in there as well.
Pine Forest coming over to Crestview. You got it at a kind of a mid. You feel pretty confident about it. Pine Forest, of course, giving everybody a game for the most part, with the exception of Choctaw. But even then, they looked okay. What made the decision for you?
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. From here on down on the list, I kind of sort of made me a dartboard and threw a dart and, picked that way. But this one really, I think Pine Forest is a little bit better than Crestview, honestly. And maybe I'm a little biased. I kind of like to see Crestview get beat. But I'm just going to be straight honest with you on that one. That's just, hey, I'm Niceville through and through, man. So that's why I picked Pine Forest. I'm in the middle there with the confidence, and I don't like to pick a middle number. I really don't, because to me, that's just an excuse and an easy way out. That's a safe number. Mm-hmm. But on this one, I'm like, I have no idea. This could kind of go either way right here. So I broke my own rules and picked 3 on the number there.
While he's throwing darts with his right hand, he's sipping on the Haterade right here. This is kind of the motion that we have for Hunter Brock this week, hitting the bullseye. All good to go. And he's also picked Arnold. He thinks, look, man, it's getting desperate over there in Panama City Beach. They need some love over there, man.
Hey, I'm going to give it to them right here. I hopefully these guys can get it together and pull it off. I don't know. I think it's going to be a good game, honestly. I really do.
Y'all remember when Arnold was like world beaten, state championship running, like an honest to God football team?
Yeah.
Because it's been a minute. So I think that's nice. I like that idea. It's a happy thought for me. Anyway, Baker, Northview. They're 6-0. Hey, what do you want?
Look, I should have chosen Baker on this one, but like I said, dartboard, dart. I was in a hurry when I was making my picks on these last couple. So, if I could go back and, I guess I did pick Gator.
Are you telling me you don't deep research these for hours at a time?
Dude, now listen, man. I wish I had the time. I am envious of you guys. I envy Heath. He gets on here and he's got all his stats, and I'm like, man, he's got his ducks in a row. Me, I'm not quite certain. I don't have half of them as pigeons over here. I don't have ducks. I got squirrels and pigeons, and they're everywhere. So,
Hang on. Now, you are tied for first place in our Pick'em competition. I want to point that out to you. You're winning. You're winning.
I'd rather be lucky than good any day. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right. Well, Hunter Brock, he's got another one for us. All right, Heath, you're up, brother. Got Niceville. Niceville by 1 million or just Niceville by like 20?
This one's going to be a close game. I think Godby is, I think when you look at them on paper, it's Niceville's going to prevail. It's not going to be a running clock by no means, but, I'm thinking 42, 31, somewhere around there. I expect it to be a good, hard-fought game. Mm-hmm. But Niceville being homecoming too, I think they're going to see a lot of alumni up in the crowd, some ex-players and things like that. They're going to be wanting to impress the guys. So I think they're going to pull this one off.
Right on. And Choctaw, I mean, you got them in there locked as well. I mean, South Walton's got a good offense, but this Choctaw defense, bro. We heard from Coach Terrence Brooks. He's got them ready to go.
Well, I tell you what, after listening to Coach Brooks, I'm even more locked in on why I chose Choctaw, because I don't think South Walton is really going to do well in the air. And they're not really well in the ground attack. So I think this might be a running clock game.
Yeah.
To be quite frank with you on this one.
Which is crazy because South Walton is not a bad football team.
No.
But yeah, I think I agree with you. I don't want to reveal my picks just too soon, but yeah, I'm with you. Pine Forest at Crestview. I think we have the same pick, maybe all the way down. Pine Forest, Crestview, kind of middle of the way. What made the decision for you, man?
They're both kind of par for the course. They're doing okay, but I'm going to give Pine Forest the edge on the road. I'll admit I'm going to drink the hater gate on the Bulldogs. But I think Pine Forest looks a little more consistently playing than Crestview. So I'll stick with those guys, Pine Forest. Right
on. And then you picked Arnold as well.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I think going back, I kind of rather gone with the Braves, even though I kind of was on the fence on them a little bit. Neither one of them is really impressive, but Arnold was moving the ball through the air, and they're kind of
against Choctaw, no less.
Yeah, and they're kind of average on the ground. I mean, really, you look at it. I mean, 125 yards a game per game average versus Walton is 45.
Yeah.
But on the ground, they're 55 and Walton's 85. I just feel like they're going to get the passing game going. They're going to be a little more balanced on offense, and they'll walk away with this one.
Right on. And then finally, you locked them down. Baker's beating Northview.
That really wasn't even a question mark. Baker's always been a great little school. I mean, I remember that in the 80s with all their championships they had. They've been pretty consistent along the way, but hands down, you're going up against a Baker Gator, you're not going to be able to compete with them.
Right on. Well, I'll reveal mine now. Here's what I got. I got Niceville. I'm not super confident, but I think I'm a little bit more confident than Collin was. I do think it'll maybe be a 10-point game. I do think it's going to be high scoring. But I like Niceville in this one because of home field advantage, because of homecoming, because they've now played 6 games, and I think the offense is going to have to start to gel at this point, and I think the defense might get that benefit as well. I'm picking Choctaw over South Walton. I think South Walton's a good ball club. I think they're a top 10 ball club here in Northwest Florida, but I just think Choctaw is that much better than everybody else except for maybe Pace. And I'm not even sure about that. I was the holdout, by the way, on the power rankings. I didn't want to reveal that, but I was the holdout voting for Pace. And then with Mikael Williams gone, it's not even a question. Choctaw is the better team. Crestview, I'm picking Crestview. I like Crestview in this one. I think that they're gonna get on their back heels and win this game ugly. I think that the defense is enough in this game. I may be wrong, but I doubt it. And then Walton is playing at Arnold. I'm picking Walton. I'm relatively confident about this. I was looking at Walton's numbers. Their defense is actually pretty good. They don't give up a ton on the ground. And so I think that they have a B- defense and they have a B- offense. And I think Arnold's is just not there. I like Walton for this. I think that they'll be able to get this thing done, even though it's on the road. And then finally, Baker at Northview. Come on, guys. I mean, what do you want from me? I'm not gonna risk my tie for first place with Hunter on a crazy pick like I don't know, something like a Baker versus Rutherford thing. Like nobody would be dumb enough to do that.
No one would be dumb enough to pick Gulf Breeze against Niceville.
I mean, hey, I gave you a free pass on that. All right. You could be sitting by yourself in last place, but I'm a generous God. And so I let you have it. I said, okay, he was just playing. There's no way anybody would actually pick that. I thought you had a small mental lapse. It does happen from time to time. But, I got you, dog. Anyway, that is what we have. Yeah?
I want to know how Collin's in last place here. I think out of the four of us, this man probably knows more about every team from Pensacola to Orlando and has more time, and he's in last place. What's going on, man?
See, I've been the outlier, so I think what really got me down early is I picked against Niceville a lot, and the reason I did wasn't to be a hater.
He's a hater.
Yeah, I'm a hater. But
I mean,
look at Niceville's early schedule. I mean, it was tough. I mean, that was one of the toughest schedules to open the season. Mm-hmm. Granted, I think it gets a little easier. Niceville still has Mosley and Milton, and that's no easy feat for them. But I mean, they do have Collin later this year, I believe, and I think they'll get to maybe a 500 record at the end of the year or a little bit above that. But I just wanted to be different. I knew you guys, as all Niceville homers, I knew you guys would be upset with the Golf Breeze pick. But I mean, in my defense, Golf Breeze had their back against the wall last week. I mean, their season is effectively over. They're now 0-5, 0-1 in the district. There's no hope with Niceville and with Mosley and Milton ahead of them. It would have to be something of a monumental upset in both of those games for Golf Breeze to even have a chance in something like that. But I just thought, back against the wall, they could do it. And after Robert Oliver's kickoff return, and then Jacoby Gilliard had 3 runs and it was a touchdown, and then there was a pass interception return for a touchdown, and it looked up and it was literally 5 minutes into the game, and it was already 21-0. And I'm like, yeah, this isn't good for Golf Breeze.
Whoops. But like you said, Godby and then Mosley, that's going to be a tough game. Milton's going to be a tough game, and I even think Navarre's going to be a tough game. I know they haven't won a game yet this year. I know.
Principal Morello just walked by in a snazzy suit, Hunter. Did you see that?
He is looking good over there today.
Yeah,
it's hard because he's sort of like with the walking of the people with the dresses and the suits.
I know. This man looks good.
How wonderful is it that it's not 1,000 degrees like outside? Oh, yeah. Because it could be 93 right now, and he could be in a suit, and that sounds like probably the worst thing ever.
This man looks like James Bond.
Dedication. He's got the dedication. He does it every year.
Game recognized game.
Yeah.
I've said that for years. Anyway, guys, we're going to have a great day of football. Stay tuned with us. We're going to be putting up video content throughout the night, showing you what's going on around
You don't want to talk about my hot dog power rankings?
Oh, my gosh. I almost forgot the hot dog power rankings, and that would have been
You don't want me to explain myself?
Guys, this is the greatest thing that happened to me this week. I was a doubter. Collin has been talking about this for a month and a half, and he was like, dude, I'm going to do the hot dog rankings. I'm like, that's dumb. Like, I was like, yeah, it's kind of funny. No, this is the thing that we needed in this country. This could bring us together. All right. Democrats, Republicans, people that like the beach, people that don't like the beach, SMU, TCU. That's probably not going to happen. Vegans, Heath. I mean, this is it, guys. Collin's Hot Dog Power Rankings, brought to you by Final Approach Irrigation. I don't know why irrigation would ever have anything to do with hot dogs, but here we are. And it's brand new world.
Bread is a secret trick for irrigation work. That's all I'm going to say.
So can I explain this? Can I explain this real quick? So
make it happen.
The hot dog thing is interesting because, as I learned with this post, is all these teams have something that make them unique. So Milton has the shish kebab. Crestview has boiled peanuts. I don't know what Niceville has, but they get the pizza from across the street. They also have Chick-fil-A here too. So I mean, like, I don't know, but you can get Chick-fil-A anywhere, and you can get that pizza any time of day. If you're working. I mean, I had it for lunch. It was delicious. So the hot dog to me is a universal staple of stadium food. You can get it anywhere. So why not rank each hot dog? And I put Niceville number 1 because, first off, it was warm. All right, and that's critical. It was warm. The casing was a good snap. I gave Milton 9-0. Now, some people say I'm a homer, but whatever. Who cares? Golf Breeze, surprisingly good. I will say that was the shortest wait I've ever had for a hot dog. I literally walked up to the away grandstand. I got my hot dog. It was great. Pine Forest, also a great hot dog. I will say they did not let your boy back in after the fourth quarter because I went to the bathroom and then they wouldn't let me back on the field, even though I had a media badge. But whatever, it's all good in the hood. Now, Choctaw is interesting because their defense can't stop them from an 8.1 rating. And now you say, Collin, why was it 8.1? Why are Choctaw so low? Well, let me tell you, I was there twice and I had the same experience twice. A cold dog. The bun was not soggy, but the dog itself, cold. What's up with that? And then Pace at the bottom. And the only reason I Pace is at the bottom, because it was a good hot dog, but I'm from Milton, and this is my list, and rivalries exist, so Pace is last. I'm not going to get a hot dog tonight because I already experienced greatness. I'm going to try something else with the stadium.
Oh, my God.
But
I'm having a hot dog.
it was. Look, they say each hot dog takes about 30 minutes off.
Good, and I agree.
Haters are going to say this isn't journalism, but they need to know they're wrong. All right, this is.
Now,
we all needed this.
So I had 6 hot dogs, so I took about 3 hours off my life. So in 30 years from now, 40 years from now, it's going to suck. As I die of cardiovascular disease, like every other American will, I will think, dang, I probably shouldn't have ate those 6 hot dogs in the 2025 football season. How dare I? But it was delicious. Go out and support your concession stands because those are all for good causes. I know the band runs the concession stand here, and the Niceville band needs them. Needs all the money it can get because you got to protect the arts in the state of Florida. So go support your local concession stand and have a good time. That's what the concession stand is here for. But next year, what we learned is that each stadium has their own special food. But I don't know what Niceville's is. I mean, you can't count Chick-fil-A. You can't count the pizza because that's not made by the concession stand.
You said it's the pizza from across the street, which is the most disgusting way I've ever heard pizza described. That is disgusting. It is good pizza. You know that pizza from across the street? You sound like you're getting that pizza from the gas station.
Sorry, Berzini.
To be fair, it is located in the same building as the gas station.
And Pounders.
You do have a point there. Yeah.
Like Pounders. Yeah, it's Pounders and Brosini's in the same spot. But what is Niceville's signature thing? I'm looking at Dippin' Dots that you can get that anytime. Like my pharmacy sells Dippin' Dots. So
you know what I think? I think Niceville, we need to do boiled peanuts next year, and then we can really have a rivalry with Crestview.
Boiled peanuts.
Don't get Crestview started on the rivalries because we spent 30 minutes today talking about redistricting the area and going to. So don't let Christopher get on a soapbox. He'll take you 30 minutes to get through that.
I'll leave you with this, and if you want to hear about it, put it in the comments. But we need to get rid of districts, and we need to get rid of classifications. And we need to start conferences. I'm done. I've had enough of everybody pretending like we need to have Niceville does not need to go and play Mosley. Niceville does not need, or Fort Walton Beach doesn't need to play Rickards in Tallahassee every year. That's insane. It's crazy talk. Anyway.
Think how cool a Baker versus Crestview game would be. Think how cool a Niceville versus Freeport game would be.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah, would be great.
All right. That's all I'm going to say about that until another time. But boys, it's been a good time. Enjoy your football tonight. And we will be on social media throughout the night, putting out content, letting you know what the scores are. So we'll see you around. But
also letting you know who the homecoming king and queen is here at Niceville. I don't know who these kids are, but we're about to find out.
Somebody does. Somebody knows who they are.
Yeah. So just tune in for that. We'll see y'all later.